Hello, I'm Debbie Bell-Hosking for Finextra TV at EBAday 2024 in Lisbon. And I'm chatting to Renata Vilanova Lobo of JP Morgan Payments. We're talking all things SEPA, ISO 20022, innovation and resiliency. But first of all, Renata, hello.
Thank you so much, Debbie. Delighted to be back at EBAday. Thank you for the invitation.
It's really good to speak to you, Renata, especially EBAday again. And things have moved on so quickly since our last conversation. I rolled down the list there, but let's first start off with SEPA. I mean, what do you see the cross-border impact of SEPA on European and global interoperability?
So when we look at the G20 principles around payments, right? So aiming at delivering faster, safer, cheaper payments with more transparency. I think one key barrier that is preventing us from getting there is the lack of global interoperability, right? So this is really a key challenge that we need to overcome so we can really improve the way we operate within cross-border payments. And I think SEPA has been extremely successful in defining common standards, right, around format messages and data requirements, processing rules within the Eurozone. And this is allowing interoperability within countries in that zone. And I think that the experience of users when interacting through SEPA is extremely positive. And the same expectation we all have when interacting outside of SEPA. So I think that defining common standards is really critical for us to achieve global interoperability. And I think SEPA has proven the importance of those common standards in terms of improving the way we operate in the cross-border payment space. And I think it's really pushing other regions to do the same. So hopefully we'll get there very soon.
In a way, it's a motivator, hopefully.
Definitely, yes.
Yeah? So let's chat now about ISO 20022. I've got two questions. Why is it crucial for financial institutions, and why this urgency for them to transition?
Yeah. So I think that ISO 20022 is probably the biggest change within payments in the past 30 years or so. So it's a big change, and in the short term, I think the benefits we can expect from the migration is really around operational efficiency. So really improving SEPA rates, improving the way we do sanction screening. So I think this is what we can expect in the short term. But when we look at ISO, it's a combination of a structured format and also new data fields that can open possibilities, across multiple other solutions and really bring add value to, the banking community. So I think it's definitely a very complex migration, a very technical migration that requires time. But in the long run, I think that the impact of ISO can be massive. And it can really differentiate banks, right? Considering how they take advantage of the enriched data to create more solutions or customization. But again, it's very technical, it's very complex. It takes a lot of planning. Testing is critical. So the time is really now. It's now the time to embrace, common standards to create global interoperability and hopefully to unlock the power of structured and enriched data.
And you're saying the time is now?
Oh my gosh, yes. It's just around the corner, right? So the deadline is the next year in November, so it'll be before we know it.
I know, and everything's happening so quickly. So let's now talk about the role of resiliency. How do you see that role and the importance of it in today's landscape, particularly when we've got geopolitics, economic downturn, and of course unforeseen challenges? How should we be thinking about resiliency?
So that's a great question. So to be successful in the industry of payments, so you need to deliver a reliable, consistent, secure, fast, and seamless payment service. So that's a lot, right? And when we think about emerging technologies, so this is bringing new options, new possibilities in terms of client experience. It's really improving the client experience. But at the same time, it's bringing new challenges around fraud, cyber threats, right? So this is all coming together. On top of that, we have new geopolitical tensions. We have a very volatile market. So all that together is bringing new challenges, and it's raising new questions with respect to how we process a payment today. And when you think about resiliency around payments, I think it's also changing. The concept itself is changing and expanding significantly. So it's no longer only about operational efficiency, but other elements need to be taken into consideration, like liquidity, vendor management, data privacy, regulatory framework, and sustainability. So all that needs to be taken into consideration when building resiliency around payments. And again, this is a business where security and reliability is crucial, right? It's in the center, and combined with customer experience and innovation, but resiliency is really in the center of it. So I think it can also really differentiate banks and players that are heavily competing in this space.
So listening to you now, it's like resiliency is one word, but it just encompasses so many factors that have to come together.
And it's the foundation of the industry of payments nowadays.
So let's talk about innovation now. And that's where we're leading. I mean, I should rather say what are banks innovating with the utilization of data?
So I think we've been saying that data is the new oil for quite some time, right? And I think that finally banks are now getting the benefits of leveraging customer data. And there are multiple examples where you see those benefits. So I think starting with operational efficiency. So data being used to identify new opportunities to really optimize operational processes, also streamline workflows and reduce cost. So definitely an area where you see tons of benefits in leveraging data. We can also think about data being used for data protection and fraud prevention. So identifying suspicious activities and preventing fraud. And that combined with data analytics and AI, I think banks are being very effective towards detecting and preventing fraud in real time. And nowadays with real-time payments everywhere, this is really a must-have. And then you can think about a customer experience, right? So data really being used to customize solutions. So based on customer data, banks are being very precise towards defining behaviors, specific needs, preferences. And with that, they're customizing solutions, so bringing to us a much better experience. Not to say in terms of product design. So the same behaviors are being used to define new apps or new functionalities that we're all using. So again, creating a better experience and also differentiating banks. So I think this is just the beginning of a new journey where data will be in the center, and it'll be interesting to see with ISO 20022 how banks will take advantage of that enriched data to create new solutions to really differentiate and bring even more competition into the landscape of payments.
I like what you're saying about the beginning of the data journey. So hopefully when we get to meet again, we can talk more about where that's taking us.
Yes, and all the new solutions that we'll be using, and all driven by data.
Renata, again, lovely to have you in the studio. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.